How's it going, Ram fans? After a break that was far too long, we are stoked to welcome you back to another edition of CTV Sports. I'm Madeline Davis.
And in case you forgot, I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what we have on tap for you tonight.
Football finished out their season in tropical fashion with an away game against Hawaii.
Both men's and women's basketball showed up to play last week, missing some Moby Madness or not.
An honorable triathlete talks about their story and how they managed such a demanding lifestyle.
All of that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now. The clock struck 2 in the morning on Saturday to conclude the Rams' run on the season, eliminating all chances for a bowl game opportunity, falling short to Hawaii with the final score of 27-24. And honestly, the Rams were pretty much up right off the bat. Right here you see Justin Marshall with an amazing run into the end zone to get the Rams up 7-0. And just barely any time left in the first, Hawaii is able to answer. And look at this catch. I don't know how receivers get their feet in like that, but McBride was able to do it seamlessly. And here we see an outstanding trick play right here. It is not Torrey Horton. It is from Hawaii, from Hines right there. And then again, just an easy 8-yard rush from number 8 himself. And just like when there was a little bit of hope, BFN is able to get to Lewis Brown in the end zone to get the Rams up. They were not able to get the 2-point conversion there, but don't worry, Torrey Horton took it to the house 70 yards. They got the 2-point conversion to tie it up, but it was just too late. Like I said, the clock struck 2 a.m. and there was no time left, and it ended in field goal fashion from the Warriors. And honestly, in reality, the Rams just didn't show up to compete like they should have. The green and gold played down to the Rainbow Warriors level as Hawaii only had 4-8 record going into it. Their head coach Timmy Chang must have also taken some notes at his time at Nevada, as he used to be one of Norvell's assistants. Because the Rainbow Warriors had a way more put together offense, besting the green and gold in rushing and passing yards, when the Rams normally dominate at least on the passing end. And for what it seems like for the first time all year, Colorado State had less penalties against their opponent and still failed to take advantage of Hawaii's loss of yardage. And for many, this was the last chance to ever wear the green and gold. Senior safety Henry Blackburn showed his disappointment. He stated, "I'm devastated about this right now. There's so many times this season where it's just come down to the wire. And we knew it was going to be like that for this season. We just needed to be better as a team, finishing games and learning how to win." And in reality, Blackburn is correct. Because if we really look back on the season, CSU just had way too many opportunities that were taken away from them. If we go back from the first game of the season against Washington State, again, Braden Fowler-Nicolosi came in late into the game and they were able to put up 21 in the fourth. As we all know what happened with the Rocky Mountain Showdown, we were supposed to win in the fourth quarter, and in double or overtime, it just wasn't able to win. And fast forwarding a little bit, UNLV, we were up 13-3 in the first half. This was one of many times where games we were up right away and it just got taken away from us. Another example of this was Utah State, up 17-3 in the first quarter, and look at that abysmal score at the end, losing 44-24. I don't know what got into the Rams with that one, and honestly, one of the biggest disappointments had to have been the border war. Braden Fowler-Nicolosi just didn't have his best night. There were a lot of interceptions, and to finish out the year on a note like this was just something that I wasn't really prepared for. But however, there were a lot of great memories to take note of. While the Rams didn't take the dub at the Showdown, it still was an amazing experience for these men to be a part of. The Holker Hail Mary will go down in green and gold history, and Ag Day was one of the best outings we've seen in a while. 4 players also made first team All-Mountain West, including Dallin Holker, Torrey Horton, Jack Howell, and Muhammad Kamara. Kamara not only is first team, but is your Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. You know, Madeline, a lot happened this year. A lot, to be honest, we weren't really expecting. And like we said, those players did an outstanding job. I mean, Holker to be a Mackey finalist, that is absolutely amazing. I think that is something to be proud of, even despite all the hecticness of this year.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, with Trey McBride being a Mackey winner.
He was the winner, yes, exactly.
Dallin Holker now being a Mackey finalist. We might as well just change our name to Tight End U while we're at it. Because that's what what we are.
Apparently that's the kind of school that we are. And, you know, this is the second time, like we said, in 3 years. Mohamed Kamara, 13 tackles. He's just absolute beast on defense. And Jack Howell, this was his 100 tackles in 2 seasons back-to-back was something to take note of. And we all know how we feel about Torrey Horton.
Yeah, Torrey Horton, 1,000 passing yards back-to-back.
Back-to-back, I believe.
Yeah.
And so, again, there was a lot of things to look forward to this year. Really didn't think it was going to play out that way. I think we came in way too overconfident in Hawaii. We thought we were going to steamroll right over them.
It's a hard place to play.
It is. The time difference, first of all, you have to adjust to that.
Yeah.
It's what, four hours?
It's 3 hours, but it's like an 8-hour flight.
I know. It's a long, exhausting trip getting out there. And yeah, Hawaii wasn't that great going into it.
No.
But
we're in the bottom 25.
The very bottom. And we should have absolutely came out with the win in that game. Especially, we beat teams like San Diego State and Nevada like we should have. You know?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at the Hawaii game and you think we should have won that one and we should have gotten those 6 wins, but in reality, we shouldn't have needed that game.
No, I agree.
We shouldn't have needed that game because we should have beaten UNLV. Mm-hmm. We should have beaten CU.
Yep.
And
it should have been.
I think we could have beaten Utah State.
This season, and I think I saw some Jay Norvell. He's like, yeah, we just didn't play good. We just didn't play good. It shouldn't have been a season on the line kind of game. I totally agree with you because, we had so many chances that we just
realistically,
didn't.
They should have been up 21-0 in the first quarter.
Yep, and then there we saw at the end there. Yeah, just disappointing, but again, I think it's definitely more promising looking into next year than what we thought going into this year.
Oh, for sure.
Because now we know how this team plays. Now we're in the rhythm of Jay Norvell. We have Braden for a few more years, so I think
Dallin's coming back.
Dallin's going to be back. We don't know what's going to happen with Torrey, but
it's up in the air.
Up in the air, and our defense is still going to be really good, but yeah. Hard loss to end the season.
Hard loss, but I'm just looking at it as it's officially basketball season.
It is officially basketball season.
And party like 1984 is what the CSU men's basketball caption read on the win graphic this last Thursday when men's hoops bested a top 10 team for the first time since, you guessed it, 1984. CSU took the court on Thanksgiving for a matchup with number 8 Creighton, feeling on top of the world after a strong win against Boston College the afternoon before. This was a highly anticipated matchup, as it was the first time the Rams had a large test on the season to really see how this new team performs against top-quality competitors. And well, needless to say, they passed with flying colors, destroying Creighton 69-48. It was just an unbelievable defensive performance from the Rams. Here we see Nick Clifford. He's going to go up. He's going to swat the ball away. Creighton didn't even score on the inbound after this. Here we see something that CSU does so well, play team basketball. They're going to pass it to every guy on the court. Here, slow down that pass. We see it. Zay goes to Rashawn Mbemba. He has 2 options. He either go inside to Joel Scott or he can go outside to Nick Clifford. He chooses outside. Look at that. Clear path, easy dunk. Easy 2 points for the Rams to put them up ahead early. Here, this was one of the only fast break points from the whole match. Honestly, both sides played fairly clean with the ball. Zay, he's going to go up. He goes up once, can't be there, but he's positioned well. He can get it again. And man, CSU just sealed this deal in this one, looking fantastic the whole time. Holding Creighton to only 48 points is an incredible feat. The Blue Jays came into this matchup as a top 10 offense in the country, averaging 91 points per game. After this performance, their average has dropped down to 84, where they are now sitting below CSU in the offensive rankings. While Creighton no doubtedly struggled, especially from the arc, a place where they normally thrive, it can't all be attributed to just a bad day. The CSU defense forced them to hold the ball longer than they're used to, which led to many rush shots for the Blue Jays. The Rams bested the Blue Jays in nearly every category. CSU shot 47% from the field, 80% from the line, and even out-rebounded Creighton by 9. With no surprise at all, it was led by Isaiah Stevens, who managed 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. But another Ram who really showed out was freshman Rashawn Mbemba, who had to come in after Patrick Cartier exited the game after only 1 minute of play. Member recorded 13 points, including his first three-pointer of his college career. This was the first time in 11 seasons that CSU had beaten a ranked opponent, and the first time in nearly 40 years that the Rams took a dub against a top 10. While this is obviously a huge program win on paper, it didn't come as a huge surprise to us here in Fort Collins. The Rams are just that good. And the rest of the country has now taken notice as CSU cracked the top 25 earlier than ever before, sitting at number 20. This is fantastic momentum going into a sold-out matchup against Colorado at Moby tomorrow night.
While some nets are getting put up, others are being taken down as Colorado State Volleyball concluded their season over the holiday weekend, losing in 5 sets to Fresno State and are now runner-ups for the Mountain West. It was a battle through and through as CSU set the tone early in set number 1 and then proceeded to barely scrape by in 2 with clutch blocks and serves to guide the way. And then the tank started to run on empty. Competing hard and tough during the 4th set specifically eventually led the Rams to go down 28-26 and finally losing the match 15-12 in the 5th. What hurts the most is how CSU came out on top in nearly everything, especially on what matters. The green and gold dominated on what they do best, including assists and kills. The serving side is the only category that came up short, but other than that, the Rams should have won on paper. Even though it didn't go the way the Rams expected, especially since they swept the Lobos the match beforehand, there still were plenty of positives to come out of the season, specifically on the player side. 4 Rams were named to the All-Mountain West team, including Emery Herman, Malia Jones, Naima Weathers, and Kennedy Stanford as an honorable mention. These women showed their leadership and grit throughout the changing year. And speaking of changing new faces, Emery Herman is your Mountain West Newcomer of the Year. Emery filled the shoes of Sutter with ease, leading the conference both in assists and service aces. She truly was a crucial part to help with the best offense in the Mountain West, and overall it was a year of ups and downs. I had a lot of fun seeing this team grow, and you know, Madeline, I think we were so fortunate to watch this team this year. We had a lot of veteran players that were able to come back, and with the change of leadership, we didn't really know what to expect coming into this year, but I think it had a lot of ups and downs, lots.
Yeah, ups and downs is a good way to put it. A lot of reverse sweeps, which was definitely disappointing to see. But, I mean, for a first-year head coach, I'd say that this was a pretty good outing.
Yep.
I mean, realistically, this was the farthest that CSU has gone in the Mountain West tournament since we've been at CSU.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, they
haven't been there in a long time.
Well, they've always been in the Mountain West tournament, but they kept losing in their first match.
And they were
at
able
least
to
they won
make
the
it
first
to the championship match.
That is true.
And I think we saw classic CSU volleyball tradition of starting the year off so hot, so strong, and then having that weird mid-season slump a little bit, kind of like losing to teams that we shouldn't be losing to, and then to see them rally like that at the end there I was honestly surprised.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, and it's all of the Mountain West honorees are coming back.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Which is huge. So I mean, I think that there are a lot of assets on the team. I mean, Malia Jones broke
about a year.
Yeah, she had 25 kills against Fresno State. She had that's crazy. I mean, she is now the all-time program leader in kills.
And
on
again,
a season.
To have her back, I know we're going to lose some people that we've had for a while, but to have these women under Emily for another year, I think, again, it's a first-year head coach, even though she had been there before, but a lot of changes with that, and I think we're just going to see even better next year.
I agree. I think they're going to come back with vengeance, and they're really going to want it.
And they're going to want it? Yep, yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Well, sitting at 4-0 on the season, the women's basketball team had their first road game of the year against San Francisco, where the Rams ensured that the undefeated streak will live on a little longer, as they took the dub 62-53. Overall, this was not the Rams' greatest outing, as they only shot 36% from the field and 25% from the arc. To put that into perspective, CSU is averaging a 46% field goal percentage and a 37% mark from 3 on the season. But anything to get the job done. With no surprise, it was led by McKenna Hofschild, who had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. And Sydney Mack also broke double digits with 10 points to contribute to the dub. The season that Hofschild is having this year cannot go unnoticed. Last week alone, she had a combined 46 points and 20 assists across 2 games, which led to her first Mountain West Player of the Week honors this year. But not only did she win this honor, she also broke the all-time program record for career assists in their game against South Dakota Mines, where Hofschild passed all-time Rams Ellen Nystrom and Becky Hammond. Hofschild and the rest of the team look to continue their success this week, making a trip down to the border to take on the UTEP Miners down in El Paso this Thursday.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy.
Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
All sports are going to have both physical and mental demands that push athletes past their limits so they can reach their greatness they all strive for. But what about when one of these sports involves 3?
I started out doing triathlons as a kid. My family were involved in the sport, and I was a swimmer just at the time, so I just kind of did it off and on just for fun. And then I ran cross country and track throughout the years, and moved into college and did that there. And then I found that I wasn't really as involved just in running. I kind of wanted to change things up, and I was at a different school at the time, and Colorado State was a much better option for me.
He's been practicing in the sport for a long time, but Ethan Minarski began truly dedicating himself to the triathlete lifestyle close to 2.5 years ago.
I think I'm most proud of the progression that I've seen. Putting in work for 3 sports is a lot, and it's definitely gratifying, because seeing from where you started to where you go, I, for example, had a really big running background, and I saw myself drop off there, but I wasn't really swimming a lot or biking a lot, so seeing the power numbers in my bike and seeing the 100 time for my swim decrease a lot was really cool to see.
And even though he might be a familiar face to the CSU Triathlon Club, that doesn't mean it's a light workload.
We do sprints and Olympics. So a sprint triathlon is you start out swimming 750 meters, and then you transition into a bike, which is normally about 12 miles, and then you run for 5K, which is 3 miles. And then our Olympic distance is double all of that, so 1,500 meter swim, 24-mile bike, and a 10K run. I think typically swimming is probably the hardest for most people. I think we get a lot of runners or soccer players, so a lot of the time getting those swim legs is kind of hard. I think coming to grips with either how hard training can be, or seeing results not be where you really want them to be with a competition, or even just kind of not being able to deal with everything that you used to be doing. I think there's so many different things to kind of piece together, and sometimes that's really hard to do. So having people that you can confine in and really kind of balance everything helps a lot.
Being one of the most demanding sports out there, taking part as a triathlete isn't for the faint of heart, but that shouldn't scare anyone away.
I would say kind of embrace the process and really just have fun with it. Don't really put limits on yourself, and don't compare yourself to other people, whether that's other people just starting or people who are well within the sport. I think everybody eventually finds their own path with the sport itself, and it's kind of fun to work your way through everything and then see yourself improve.
It was such an honor to sit and chat with Ethan about his experiences as a triathlete. But Rams, now it's time for a break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we go through some of our favorite moments from the fall.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Welcome back from the break, Rams, into a new bittersweet segment we call Fall Favorites. As Colorado winter is approaching, some of our favorite seasons are coming to an end. And we are here to reminisce on some of the most memorable moments over the last few months. And I have to start with an absolute obvious one here. It is the Dallin Holker Hail Mary. This was the best moment, in my opinion, from this fall. Undoubtedly one of the coolest moments CSU football has ever experienced. We come out on that win. It was such an amazing game. Braden Fowler threw for over 300 yards. Torrey Horton had 10 receptions. And then again to finish it off like that with Dallin. That was totally top one for me.
Yeah, that game is going to go down as one of my favorite CSU memories of all time. I was literally thinking about it the other day. My 2 favorite CSU memories come from wins over Boise State, actually.
Yes.
But which I just think is funny. I mean, I was literally like, probably, this is maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but like as far away as like me and Nick are right now from that pass. Like I saw it
right there,
close, taking pictures of that thing. I mean, I remember when we started creeping back in that game, I walked over to my friend and I go, call me crazy, but I think we could win.
I think we can pull this off.
And
I think we can.
And she goes, yeah, you're crazy.
And then look what happened.
And then I just knew it. I knew.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're looking like just barely below 6 minutes. Was it left? It was like
4 minutes.
4 minutes?
4
I'm
minutes,
so sorry.
they were
yeah,
down
4
by
minutes.
20.
But yeah, that's insane.
And with, I believe it was 6 seconds left with just
Yeah.
the pass
Yeah.
alone
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make that. And it was like almost timed perfectly. And I remember Tori saying how they practiced it a lot in practice. And he was like, it's either going to me or Holker. Like, we don't know where it's going to go. And they just had faith. And that's what I love about our team. Like, when they trust in themselves and to make plays like that, it will happen. It will happen. That's why I'm so excited for the years to come. It's going to be great. Yeah. And my second one has to be none other than the infamous whiteout match. This is one of my favorite events of all CSU of the entire year against Kentucky. We absolutely demolished Kentucky. We had it almost seems like a sold-out crowd every single time when we have a whiteout. Everyone comes up. It's the first really big athletic event of the year, and we beat them 3-1, which it was outstanding.
It was just a slaughter from our end.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And not only was this almost a sold-out Moby, it was the largest student crowd in the history of Moby Arena.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Doesn't matter what sport, basketball, volleyball, anything that's been in Moby Arena. I believe it was 4,335 students were there.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's so awesome to see. And again, like for freshmen experiencing their first event and then to see like how an amazing volleyball culture we have at our school, and then to beat a ranked team like that right off the bat.
We can't forget, Kentucky was number 10.
Yeah, they were ranked immediately. Kind of reminds me of like the Creighton situation that we just saw with basketball. But volleyball, again, they start off super hot, they get in, and they win games early on, and then that's what establishes an amazing fan base. And Yeah, the whiteout has a special place in my CSU heart because every year it has not disappointed.
No, it's awesome.
Especially this year. Of all years, this year was
so fun.
Against Kentucky.
Yeah,
like you said, number 10.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you go to that game?
Oh yeah, that was my first.
I was
game.
gonna say
Yeah.
that was your
Like
first
your
college game.
Yeah, no, it was exciting.
Did it get you hooked on Moby
Oh
Madness?
yeah, absolutely. I'm so
It's
hyped for
real.
basketball
It
right now.
got
dude.
me.
Annie
hooked.
Sullivan coming out with 18 kills. Like, she's a CSU volleyball staple nonetheless. And then just to come out, like, first game, nothing. Like,
Yeah.
That was amazing for me.
No, that was a very, very fun game.
Yes.
But of course, there are more than just 2 memories that will stick with us. So my next memory is a little bit of a recent one.
Yep.
And a recent as in not even a week ago. But a very
days ago.
a very similar thing where a green and gold team beat another ranked blue and white team. And it was when CSU demolished Creighton.
Demolished!
This was so fun for me because I cannot stress to you guys, for at least 2 weeks before this, I kept telling people, I was like, watch us beat Creighton. Watch us beat Creighton. And everyone was like, you are so stupid. They were like, you are too loyal to this team. Creighton is number 8 in the country. We're not even ranked. And I go, so what? Watch us win.
I even know, like, if I was able to sports bet, my money would have been on CSU because I just had a feeling. I was like, I don't know. We went into that game and people, again, looked down on us so much because the thing about this year versus last year, we have been beating the teams that we should be killing. I feel like last year they were either way too close for comfort, we were either losing, we were winning on, total, like, show buzzer beaters that were like, whoa, okay, that should not have been a buzzer beater. Yeah. We've been beating teams that we have been been killing, and, like, this was kind of our first test, but I know we talked about this. Creighton just, wow, they did not deserve to be number 8.
I was like,
the way we destroyed them.
Yep.
I mean, every number was like in our favor across the stat board.
And that was the lowest point total that Creighton has been held to since over a year ago.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We locked them down.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was insane. I mean, like I said in my story, they were averaging 91 points per game, and we held them to 48.
And it wasn't even like it wasn't a blowout the whole game. Like it wasn't even like it kind of got a little nervous.
It was a good basketball game.
Consistently,
It was a
we
good
were
basketball
up the
game.
whole
Yeah.
time. And man, the Rocky Mountain Showdown is going to be amazing tomorrow.
I know.
That's going to be awesome.
Sold out. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah, and my second moment was something that I thought was really fun. I also got to witness this one live. This was up in Laramie, one of my least favorite places. But this was one of my favorite memories, so it made it okay. It was when CSU went to the finals for the first time in the Mountain West tournament in soccer, beating San Diego State, the 1 seed. And we all know how much I love when CSU beats San Diego State.
Oh, yeah.
Beating the 1 seed in a shootout.
Yep.
This was, I have genuinely, when this game was happening, I texted my mom and I said, I don't think I've ever seen a better soccer game. Like it was one of those games where like it was 0-0 the whole time, but it was an intriguing 0-0.
Yeah.
Like CSU was playing so hard. You could tell they wanted to win.
Yeah.
And San Diego State was just hoping CSU didn't score.
I mean, I feel like I wasn't much of a soccer fan coming into college, but this team this year, I'm like, I don't want to miss a game because they're unbelievable to watch. The run that they had this year,
Best record
ever,
best season in program history.
Yeah.
And making it that far, it was so hard to see them go down as well. But that game against San Diego State, I totally agree with you.
The game was
top moment.
Awesome. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
And to just see them so happy and to see them celebrate
Yes,
afterwards,
I know.
just knowing what this program has been
And
through.
like what they did and like the change that they've made and
Yeah.
all of that is such a cool sports moment to witness.
It really was.
Always great to see. But, as always, we're saving the best for last. And for my first, we're staying on the soccer field.
Okay.
I got the goaltender posting up yet another shutout for the season. She's put up 10 across the season, and it's at the end of, I'm sorry, I thought we had the clip going, but it was at the end of that one that she had put up. It was second in the Mountain West. It was the best she had done in all of her seasons. And yeah, it was just amazing to see because she'd been working so hard. And I mean, in just a game where you're getting so little shots on goal, to be putting up the numbers that she had 1.45 goals against average.
Wow.
She had a 77% save percentage. And it's just like seeing that from her, I don't know. I just thought it was really awesome.
Well, it just contributes to how much an amazing season that they had. Like, key players like that is what you need. I think that's an amazing fall moment.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Shayna Ross had a fantastic season. I mean, she was. You can say all you want about the scorers, but at the end of the day, you know, saves. That's literally. I mean, that's how they beat SDSU.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she saved one. She saved one of those PKs.
Yep.
She saved one of those PKs, and that gave CSU an edge. So when San Diego State missed one, it was over.
Yep.
I mean, she played an outstanding season, and she's only a junior.
Wow, that's awesome.
She's here for at least another year.
Yeah.
So it's there are big things coming for this program.
Oh, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
And I mean, but we just can't forget about that magical night in Boulder. We were supposed to be killed.
That's true.
I know we
That's
lost
true.
it, and I know that it was close, but second overtime, I heard people saying we were going to get shut out, that we were going to be held to a field goal.
Yeah.
And just to go out there and prove it like that, I mean, that was amazing.
Personally, I think my favorite part of this game was the halftime show. And it was because there was so much hype around it. I mean, you had every huge possible college football outlet at this game.
Yeah.
I mean, College Game Day was there, Big Noon Kickoff was there. It was huge, and all of the attention was on CU and Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And so they didn't prepare anything for CSU because they were like, this is going to be a slaughterhouse. CSU is going to get shut out 60-0. It's going to be embarrassing for the Rams. They were up at half. They had nothing to talk about.
They had nothing to say.
They had nothing to talk about because all they did was prepare for CU.
For it to be a blowout.
And CU did
They had
not
to be like, who is Tori Horton? Because even at College Game Day, all they talked about was, oh my gosh, Shador Sanders this and Sanders that. Like, they didn't even name one of our players. All they showed was the clip about Jay Norvell saying that whatever comment that's in the past. I with you, Madeline, to see the look is on their face to be like, oh, this is not what we were expecting today, but oh man, what a game. What a game.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, and again, like we had it was like a 99% win probability going into the fourth, which that's why it breaks my heart.
Yeah, that's tough.
Could you imagine if we did come out on that game? But think about it,
God.
Boulder.
We would be in a bowl game right now.
They didn't get a bowl game either.
No, the worst record in the Pac-12 for the second year in a row.
Frauds.
Technically, we had a better record.
I would say we
were 5-7.
We have
they
a
were
better
4-8
record than Boulder twice
Yeah,
now.
and after they beat us, what did they go for the rest of the season? 1-9.
And the Oregon game to just totally.
Don't even get me
Oregon
started
game.
on Stanford. They were up 29-0 at the half, and then Stanford came back and won. The only other game they won was like a last-minute field goal against.
And you know,
ASU.
it gets to be here next year because that's what I can't wait to talk about. But Rams, that's all the time we have. Recapping what we've had for you tonight, and make sure that you tune in next week for the final sports show of the semester. But stay safe and have a great rest of your night.